You're listening to the British Baseball Podcast. All right, I believe we are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us on this special breaking news edition of the British Baseball Podcast. I was going to sing the introduction to keep it in line with the rest of the episodes, but I've been advised by my better half not to, and she's very good with these calls of judgment. So unfortunately, it's not me humming away. It would be glad to see that I've got Craig Savage back on the show. He was on a couple of weeks ago, an episode talking about the Brighton Buccaneers and his time with them. But Craig has had some exciting news that's been broken in regards to the European Super League of Professional Baseball and the British Knights that are going to be a part of it. Craig, welcome back to the show.
Hi, good evening, Matt.
Thanks again for sharing this breaking news. I think what I'll do, I'll just hand the mic over to you. Now, you've recently just been announced as a member of the management staff for the Knights. Do you want to tell people what your job role is and what it is that you'll be doing?
Yeah, that's correct. So to start things off, Matt, my role will be to liaise with much of the local authorities in respect of our locations and facility, and also trying to open dialogues with lots of clubs, and especially clubs local to where the team is going to be situated. So I'm very limited to what I can tell people. I think it's important to tell everybody that, or make everyone realise that we're in a slightly different realm now in terms of professional sport. And so there are things that I can tell you, and things that I'm not at liberty to say, and things that I have no input into, and so maybe can't answer questions. But what I can say at this stage, and I do understand and respect that lots of people around the country might feel that they want to know certain things and might want answers. But there's certain things, as I say, that I'm not at liberty to tell you at this stage. However, what I can tell you is that much of the stuff that was put out in the media earlier on was in regards to geographic location. And what I can confirm to you at this stage is that despite what has been mooted and what has been put out there, the location is not Bath in Wiltshire. So that I can confirm.
But, and like you said before, that it's I'm not privy to any information either. It's all between you and the league, and there are things that you are allowed to say and that you aren't allowed to say. So I'll let you just the one question that I suppose I'm going to ask is, what is it that you can tell us?
Well, what I can tell you at this stage is that we are going to be discussing the logistics of the team being situated on the south coast, potentially in or around the Brighton area. That is the first thing I can say to you. I've seen questions online about people asking, whereabouts is it going to be, and right now that's not really open to public consumption. There's negotiations that need to take place, and when announcements can be made, announcements will be made. As I just alluded to, because of the realm that we're in terms of professional sport, everything, as I said to you prior to this, much of what I can say has to be run by a press officer, and I'm very clear on what I can't say. And so at the moment we're looking at potential facilities in and around the Brighton area, of which there are 2 or 3 potential suitors. Having said that, if as time goes by, it becomes clear that that isn't going to materialize, then of course that situation will change, and therefore we will seek to find a more appropriate location. Now, we have some time on our side, and obviously, as people will realize, that the restrictions and difficulties that we're operating under in respect of the pandemic that is forcing us all to live our lives a little bit differently, means that certain things that were put in place in respect of this league have had to change slightly because of the restrictions and the freedom of movement. And that's as much as I can tell you about that at this stage.
Okay. How did you end up getting involved in the project? Were you approached or did you inquire yourself? Can you give us a bit of background to that?
Yes, I can give you a bit more information about that. I've been having discussions now since the back end of last year in respect of this matter, and I've been in correspondence with the league president over a number of weeks and months, and we've been just trying to find some common ground, which we've now managed to achieve, which is great news. I find this incredibly exciting. I mean, when I spoke to you a few weeks ago, Matt, you'll recall our interview, and you asked me a question which caught me out a little bit, and that was, could you ever see yourself getting back into baseball? And you might recall that there was a bit of a pause from me because I needed to be very, very careful about what I said and how
so
much information passed on. So that will. So maybe now you'll understand why I was very not cagey, but just a little bit hesitant in what I could say. But as I say, discussions have been going on since the end of last year, and over recent months, I've been thinking a lot about how my life has shaped up in the past, and all of the things that I've enjoyed and things that I've been a part of. And baseball has been a huge part of my life, which I feel has been missing for a period of time. And so it was important to me to seek out something that I felt was incredibly beneficial, not only to me, but to the sport itself. And over the years, as far as British baseball is concerned, I've had a number of struggles internally with myself about the direction that things have taken. And I see this as such a huge step forward for the sport in this country. I can't emphasize that enough. What this has the potential to do for amateur teams in this country has I don't think we've ever seen the likes of that before. And so whilst I appreciate that people will be skeptical, hesitant, negative, whatever it might be, please embrace this, because this is something that can and is highly likely to have a huge impact right across the UK. And I don't want anyone to lose sight of that. And so over the coming weeks and months, I'll be having dialogues with lots of organisations, and the federation needs to be spoken to, local clubs need to be spoken to, and these are all things that is part of my remit at this stage, and it's kind of a very exciting part of the early stages of my role. Just to gauge reaction, get an idea of people's thought processes as we move forward. So, in a nutshell, Matt, it's extremely exciting times for baseball in this country. I think we need something like this. I really, really do believe we need something like this. There's lots of talk about Major League Baseball coming and running a series in London, and whilst that's fantastic for everybody to see, let's not get away from the fact that it is a pure marketing tool. It is about growing a global fan base, and and without putting too fine a point on it, of course, when that series is over, Major League Baseball as an organization leave the UK, and what do they leave behind? Is there a legacy that they leave behind that benefits the sport on the ground in the UK rather than the global brand? And the answer to that is probably not. And this, I believe, is something very different.
Excellent. I think I've got quite a few more questions that save for Kevin, the manager of the Knights, when he pops on the show with us next week. But Craig, this has been brilliant. Really excited. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you? Or are you going to give us a bit of?
Well, I'm gonna wind my neck in a bit and say about an 8. But like I said, this is not just about Craig Savage and the excitement that I feel. This is something that I want everybody to become excited about, because we haven't been presented with this opportunity before. And I think as a sport, we have to grasp this with both hands and get on board the train. I think that's really, really important. I can't emphasize that enough to people. And as time goes on, and as the weeks and months pass, myself and Kevin and Jason, the GM, will be able to give you more information and put more meat on the bones, so that everybody understands exactly what a fantastic opportunity this is.
Amazing. I don't suppose you would know if the games are going to be broadcast, do you? Or if there's been any chat about that. Again, I appreciate that you may or may not be allowed to let us know.
That is not in my remit to say at this stage.
Okay.
And I don't have a definitive answer to your question, unfortunately.
No worries. Right, great stuff. Craig Savage, thank you for sharing this breaking news with us. I'm going to go a bit spinal tap and say that my excitement level is now 11. I'll try to contain myself, but I have been described as having childlike and naive enthusiasm, and I probably never lose that. But I'm
channeled in the right way, Matt. That's never a bad thing.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for people that are tuning in. Cheers, Mum, for being the other listener that's on live. Only kidding, there's a few of you on there. Thanks everyone for giving us a bit of your time, and I'll speak to you all soon. Ta-ra.